Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and I'm coming to you guys today with the replay of my Week 4 UBC match. We are going up against the Maryland Mienshaos, coached by Mien Dog, aka Jack. I did record a live comm of this video, of this battle, but I thought I would just go ahead and do post-comm on it. I was really tired during the match, and I don't think I really provided a lot of valuable commentary, and I think just doing a post-comm, I'm going to be able to analyze the video a little bit better for you guys, and point out some of the plays that were or were not made in some cases. Anyway, in case you missed our team building video, we are bringing a Suicide League Quillfish with Spikes, Scald, Taunt, and Explosion. We're bringing Life Orb Nidoking, 4 attacks. Bringing Choice Banded Entei. We're bringing Spidef, Bronzong with Stealth Rock, Toxic, Gyro Ball, and Rest. Bringing 4 attacks Sceptile, and we are bringing Calm Mind, Unaware Clefable with Heal Bell and mono attacking Moonblast. Jack brought Landorus T, Vaporeon, Vileplume, Zoroark, Raikou, and Staraptor. So when I see this team, things that stood out to me, something like Choice Specs Raikou could be really scary to me. Choice Scarf Staraptor is something that I was really expecting to serve as a counter to Sceptile. Zoroark, I don't really have a great switch in for it, but I do have Pokemon like Sceptile that can outspeed it and kill it, because Zoroark's not really that bulky, and so that was something that I was going to be on the lookout for. Vaporeon is a good answer to Entei, but I have Sceptile to take that on. Vileplume can handle Sceptile, but I have Pokemon like Nidoking and Entei, which should be able to take on Vileplume pretty well. My plan, of course, is to lead with Quillfish to try and get up hazards, and that is what we do. And we see first turn he brings out the Landorus T. Now, it's already the first turn of the battle, and I'm pausing to explain plays. But so I knew that Landorus was going to have rocks. It was the only Pokemon that he brought that has rocks. It's the only Pokemon on his team, period, that gets Stealth Rock. So what I should have done here maybe was click Taunt to prevent the Stealth Rocks from getting up. At the time, I was thinking, I really just want to get up the Spikes to try and get up as many hazards as possible. Plus, if he goes for something like Earthquake, I want to get at least 1 layer up. But we're max speed, and unless he's invested in speed, his Landorus is probably not going to have it's not going to be able to outspeed us. So even if he Earthquakes here, we should be able to get up 2 layers, or go for a layer and then go for Explosion. Or I could have clicked Taunt, prevented his Stealth Rock, and even if he went for EQ, we get up 1 layer the next turn, and it's not a huge deal. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I kind of wish I had clicked Taunt here. Instead, I just went for, as you can see, went for a layer of Spikes, and he goes for his rocks. So he sees that I'm the Suicide Lead, goes out into Raikou. I go for a second layer. I see that he's leftover, so I'm thinking that he has Substitute, which he does reveal here. And I don't really care because I got Clef in the back, and I go for my 3rd layer. So I am excited that I have 3 layers of Spikes up, even if it doesn't hurt Pokemon like Landorus and Staraptor. But anyway, I bring in Clefable here. Only does 34% damage with Thunderbolt, so I'm able to easily Moonlight that off. And he's going to realize that even if he has a Calm Mind here, he's not going to be able to do a lot. He does get a Para here, which kind of stinks, but I don't think it probably didn't end up mattering in the end. So he brings out Vileplume, which does pretty much hard stop my Clefable. I'm able to get off a Moonlight, get back up to full HP. And here I figure, what do I want to switch into this? If he has something like a Sleep Powder, I don't want anything on my team to go to sleep. But Quillfish has done its job. It's gotten up the Spikes and things like that. So he takes 36% from a Sludge Bomb. So now that I'm in here, like I said, I'm wondering, is Vileplume going to go for Sleep Powder? Is it going to go for whatever, Synthesis? Something like that. I should try and taunt this thing. After, sleeping on it and looking at the match, I really wish I just clicked Explosion here. And the reason for that is Vileplume is a really good stop to Sceptile. I don't think I fully appreciated that when I was prepping for this match. Something like Spidef Vileplume just does not really care about what Sceptile has to do, and it can KO back with Sludge Bomb. So Explosion probably would have been the right play here. Instead, we just go for Taunt to try and prevent whatever from happening, and he KOs us with Giga Drain. So I don't really care that Quillfish went down, but I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get any damage off on this thing. So anyway, bring in Entei, because that obviously threatens most of his team, especially the Vileplume that was sitting out in front of us. Go for Sacred Fire. He switches to Vaporeon, and we don't get a burn, which, you know, it is what it is. We bring in Bronzong, and because there's nothing that Vileplume can do, and this is a good opportunity for us to get Stealth Rocks up. So you do get up those rocks, and you know, I'll point out here, I did catch this in the match. Staraptor doesn't normally take damage from spikes, so that is that's the red light. You know, that's the red flag, I guess, is probably the more of the correct term. The red flag that this is not a Staraptor, but it is in fact a Zoroark. And so I went into the damage calc, and I saw that Dark Pulse is going to do like 65% or so, you know, plus or minus a couple of percent. And so, as I mentioned, I don't really have a switch into this to Zoroark, but I can do like 80 to 90% with Gyro Ball. So my plan is just to stay in, take a hit, you know, hope that he's not Specs or something like that. And with the damage that we get off, he might actually die to Gyro Ball plus 2 Life Orb recoils. So he gets the Wish up, which is great. Goes for Dark Pulse, does about 65% to us, takes the Life Orb damage, and he gets the flinch. So in the grand scheme, again, I don't think that's something that really mattered, because I can just come in with Sceptile and click Dragon Pulse and take him out. But, you know, just kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, that's a bummer. But anyway, we do bring in Sceptile, take out the Zoroark. He does bring in Vileplume, which, as I mentioned, is a really hard counter. He does take like 37% damage in hazards, which is great. That's, you know, the first sign that my strategy is actually working. Doesn't take a lot of damage from that Ice Beam, which I guess should have been a really good indication that this was a fully Spidef. But he knows that he's not going to win the war here, so he switches into Vaporeon just to sack it off. So Nidoking getting a kill, and we're 4-4, so things are looking good. Alright, so now brings in Staraptor, and as I mentioned, I'm really scared of this thing being Scarfed. And there's nearly nothing on my team that can come in on this now that Bronzong's dead. So my decision here was to basically sack off Nidoking and then follow up into Entei, knowing that he's going to take a lot of recoil from killing this full health Nidoking. So that's what happens. Goes for Brave Bird, is at 45%, and I bring in Entei. Now, basically, this whole battle, I feel like I was kind of playing like I was scared. I brought an offensive team, which is supposed to instill fear in your opponent, and you're supposed to force them to make decisions and react to your play style. But I feel like this whole game I was reacting to what Jack was doing. Kind of along those lines, this Staraptor, especially if it's Choice Scarf, is really threatening to me. And so the natural play here is to go for Extreme Speed and net the KO on the Staraptor. However, Jack obviously is a great battler. He sees this coming, and he makes the play and goes into his Landorus T here. And, you know, it was the most obvious play. Because as I said, you know, my Extreme Speed was incredibly obvious. So what I really wish I had done here was click something like Flare Blitz or Sacred Fire to hit this incoming Landorus T. Flare Blitz had a chance to 2-hit KO. I don't think it necessarily would have, but Sacred Fire maybe with 2 turns of Burn would have gotten the 2-hit KO. So anyway, I ended up going for Extreme Speed, and it didn't do a lot to Landorus, and he's Rocky Helmet on top of that. Now I have to switch out Entei, and I'm really regretting, you know, not taunting first turn to prevent those rocks from getting up. He brings in Vileplume, and I'm still scared of Choice Scarf Staraptor, and so the Clefable can potentially take a hit from that thing, is kind of what I'm thinking here. So I end up going out into Entei and sacking it, you know, or I'm hoping that maybe he goes for something like Synthesis with the Vileplume, and maybe I can get off one final hit with Entei. But the thing was, he had no reason to do anything but Sludge Bomb here. If I could have just gotten off any damage, you know, then I could have come in with Entei or Sceptile and done some good work. even with him having something like a Choice Scarf Staraptor in the back, Entei could still go for extreme speed and maybe take that out. So I don't know if there's a right play here. I probably should have just sacked Clef because Clefable, it's paralyzed. He still has Vileplume, so it can't do a lot to his team. I just, for some reason, thought that Choice Scarf Staraptor was going to be so scary without Clefable, which I guess is true, but, it is what it is. So, as I've mentioned, I go out and I sack Entei, and he goes for Sludge Bomb, kills me. That's fine. So, I go into Sceptile here, and I'm just like, there's no, now that Entei's gone, I can't kill this thing. I only do 38%. If I had, another thing to mention is that if I had gone into Entei there, or if I had sacked Clefable and then brought in Entei, he would have had to switch out Vileplume, and then I would kill something, most likely, almost certainly, because Raikou doesn't have great defense. Landorus, after Rocks, gets 2 KO'd by Sacred Fire. Vileplume obviously dies, and Staraptor is going to have like 20% health after switching in on Stealth Rocks. So that's what that is. And then if Vileplume came back in later, he would have had he would have taken 37% from those hazards. So the Dragon Pulse probably still wouldn't have killed, but at least the Vileplume would be at a little bit lower health, and we have a shot to kill. So just the Vileplume having like 80% health just pretty much spelled the end for me. Actually, no, so it looks like it would have come in at like 34 HP because it just recovered 6% with Black Sludge. So yeah, Sceptile could have killed, and then he could have taken on the rest of the team potentially, except for Scarf Staraptor, which, spoilers, it turns out it wasn't even scarfed, it was banded. So anyway, I bring in Clefable, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe it won't do that much damage, and then it did 62%. And I go for Calm Mind, just hoping to make something happen. And he's able to KO me with a Sludge Bomb. So, good game, Jack. You read me like a book that whole game. I'm, to be honest, really disappointed with how I played that match. I know I know that the team that I brought was the team that could have beat him, but I just played like a scrub, and he played like a lord. That's all there is to it. So, I brings us to 2-2. We are going to be dropping a little bit in the league, whereas I was hoping we could move up in the rankings this week. But luckily, we have 5 weeks to go, and 2-2 puts us in a position where we can, with a good win streak to end the season, we can catapult ourselves into the playoffs. And if that does turn out to happen, I'm hoping that I can meet Jack there and exact some revenge, because I know that I'm better at battling than what I showed in this game, and just hope I can prove that to everybody else in this league as well, that this game is not indicative of my ability. And I'll try and be less tired the next time I play so I can make some of these decisions a little bit better. And yeah, so that's all I had to say. Good game, Jack, as I mentioned. I wanted to thank, of course, all of you guys for watching this battle. Please be sure to check back for more Pokemon content in the future. And until the next time, I will see you guys later.